Oh, boy, that's really something scary. Well, hello, Eagles Nation, and welcome to yet another week of Season of the Fan and NFL football. Eagles, of course, are coming off a win against the New York Football Giants yet again. it's old hat at this point to beat the Giants, I guess. But it was quite a while ago, wasn't it? It was last Thursday night as I'm trying to get this set up here. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Will it stay? Filming in a different location today, obviously, because it is Halloween 2020. So happy Halloween out there to all my viewers of this video. Got my jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, which you can't see behind me. I thought maybe you could, but there it is back. There's not lit up just yet, but then the Eagles, of course, jack-o'-lantern ready for tonight, as well as the rest of the court festives ready. There's Festive, ready for... Oh, you're not supposed to be Festive today. No, who are you supposed to be? Oh, you're supposed to be Pumpkin. Oh, so I guess then Pumpkin is... Who's Pumpkin supposed to be? Supposed to be you. So that means that so Pumpkin's Festive today and Festive's Pumpkin. And let me tell you something. You two do an incredible job because the resemblance is uncanny. Look at this. All right, so today, because of Halloween, Festive is being Pumpkin. And this is Pumpkin being Festive. So that means Festive has other things to do to get ready for Halloween. Festive's going to separate the candy. In other words, Festive's going to eat some candy. And Pumpkin's going to, or I'm sorry, this is Festive today. So Festive's going to do the weekly Festive Four. We're going to get to that in a little bit later before the end of the video. So at any rate, boy, it's hard, you know, foxes, they don't make it easy. So anyhow, we're going to get into the Festive Four, and Festive is ready for that today, right? You have to remember you're Festive today. Okay, so you have to... So anyhow, but before we get into that, we're going to talk about tomorrow's game, of course, tomorrow night, Sunday Night Football, and it is the first meeting of the season of the Eagles and the wonderful team from Texas, not the Houston Texans, the Dallas Cowboys coming in, and there is no D in Dallas anymore, so... The Dallas Cowboys, boy, I really hope it continues on tomorrow night. For as much fun as we in Eagles Nation here have enjoyed watching Dallas play the way they've played this season so far, which hasn't been very good, and they've been looking, they just can't get out of their own way. And now they have a new quarterback in their third-string quarterback because obviously Prescott out for the season. Mr. Dalton got hurt last week, so now they're down to Tucci, I think is his name, right? The Tooch is in there masquerading as a quarterback tomorrow night, a day late from Halloween. But we're gonna see it. And listen, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's all, you know, sunshine and rainbows, okay? Because the Eagles have their own issues to deal with, right? They still have some guys out with injury. They're still going to be out tomorrow night. And, you know, have they played terrific this season so far? No. The Eagles have had their own issues. I know that we're all, you know, having fun at Alice's expense this season. This whole division has problems, including the Eagles. Now, the Eagles are starting to get some guys back, which is good. I think Rieger should play maybe tomorrow. I know Peters, I mean, you know, he'll probably be back for about a series or two before he goes down again. But, you know, he's back. It's supposedly playing guard tomorrow, which is going to be interesting. At least I think I heard that right. You know, there's a lot of issues. The Eagles have not made it easy on themselves, even in their victories. It came down to the last seconds, right? It came down to the last moments of the games. The win at San Francisco, where let's not forget that the backup, the third-string quarterback, was giving us trouble at the end of the game, right? Made the game closer than it had to be. So going into tomorrow night's game against the Cowboys, and you're dealing with a virtual unknown at quarterback, I'm not going to sit here. Look, on paper, and we all know what you could do with paper, right? On paper, it should be a double-digit win. It should be an easy win based off how the Cowboys have looked this season so far, but really on both sides of the ball since Prescott went down. Zeke Elliott's fumbling left and right, not really having a great season. Their offensive line is in flux. Those great wideouts that they just have trouble getting open anymore. The quarterback has been an issue. Everything of this game, and of course we know about the lack of their defense, everything about this game just points to it to be an easy Eagles win, but we've seen this before. We've been through games, we've gone through weeks where it should be an easy win. It should, everything that you would see before the game actually is played points in the direction of an easy win, right? Of a game that should not be difficult. It should be a laugher, right? By halftime, the thing should be over. And of course it isn't. And we've had years where there's been games and we've been sitting there before going, oh yeah, this is going to be, you sit back, put your feet up by halftime and it's over. It doesn't work that way in the NFL. It doesn't work that way in football. The Eagles have to do their job. They have to play at a level that is going to put away the Cowboys early. When you're playing a team that's in flux right now, like Dallas is, you got to put that team away early. You got to set the tone early. You can't let them hang around for even a half to feel comfortable like they're going to have a chance, right? Set the tone, get a big lead, and then don't blow the lead like the Falcons like to do, right? Get that lead and stomp on them. I mean, this is a team that should be stomped on tomorrow night by the Eagles. Now, the Eagles, though, have their own issues, and this is why I'm looking at this game, and my Eagle fan side of my brain is saying that, come on, this game should be over by halftime. The Eagles should be winning, no issues, no problems. Dallas has pretty much given up on the season. They just can't get out of their own way. The coach is an issue. Jarrah, again, is getting in the way, in the front office, and there's just problems. There's problems left and right. They don't have their starting quarterback. They don't have their backup quarterback. They're down to the third string. The offensive line sucks. The running back is having his worst season so far. Everything is pointing that this should be an easy win, right? But then the football fan side of the brain starts saying, hey, but it's still a game you have to play. And we've all seen games where the Eagles were heavily favored going into the week, going into the game. And then for whatever reason, maybe they smell themselves a little bit. Maybe even though they never come out and say, oh yeah, we pay attention to that type of thing. Maybe they just see that they're an 11-point favorite or whatever they are and say, oh yeah, we'll just show up and we'll win. We remember a game last year in Miami that didn't go exactly the way we all had thought it would go, right? Of course, that was Fitzpatrick, and he always beats us for whatever reason. I'm just happy that he's not on Dallas right now, because if he was there, I would feel a little less confident about tomorrow. But so what I'm trying to say here in my long-abouts way, as I usually do, is it's a game that should be an easy win for the Eagles. But because the Eagles have problems of their own, they're dealing with injuries too. Yeah, their starting quarterback's playing and other starters are out there. But they still have a makeshift offensive line. They still have some key weapons on offense not going to play tomorrow, including Miles Sanders, including Zach Ertz, including, veteran receivers. Now, the young receivers have done a great job. And, I mean, who would have thought going into a week where we're going to play the Cowboys that we're looking at our receiving core and their receiving core and saying, oh, we feel good about ours. Which receiving core might have a better game? It might be ours. There's no way in the world you would have thought that a couple weeks ago, right? Going into this week. Well, that's because the NFL is a funny league. Things happen, and, it's a different league week to week to week. Teams are different. So what I'll say is a cautionary tale here. We're dealing with Halloween today, spooky time of year. And I will say this with a cautionary tale aspect, that while I believe the Eagles are going to win this game, and I believe they should win this game by double digits, they should be able to take care of Dallas. or Alice, as other teams have done in recent weeks. It shouldn't be a game. The fact that it's an NFC game, NFC East game, the fact that both teams have their share of issues, the fact that, I mean, the team that wins this division can win it with 6 or 7 wins, right? Maybe 6 gets the division, and if the Eagles win this game, they're halfway there with a tie as well. Because it's the division it is, even though they're on their third string freaking quarterback, Tucci, or whatever his name is, they've had all of these issues. The Cowboys still aren't thinking it's over because they're in this division, right? So they're coming into this game. Look, if it was any other type of situation, if the Eagles were one of these teams that already, looked like they were going to have the division well in hand and whatnot, and they, the Cowboys are coming here, and they're coming here basically ready for the slaughter and everything, maybe they're looking at this game a little different. But we've seen this happen for the Eagles. Sometimes when you have a team that everyone's counting out and everyone's saying there's no way they can win this game, their season's over, forget about them, they have all these injuries, right? It wasn't long ago when the Eagles lost their starting quarterback and the backup came in there and we won a Super Bowl, and the backup was the MVP of the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and the Patriots, okay? So we know how that goes when we're on that side of the fence. So kind of as an outsider observing this, I'm not putting this W in just yet in ink. Because I've seen enough games over the years with the Eagles where, this should be a definite win, and it doesn't happen. Or it should be a comfortable win, and it's a nail-biter. I mean, look, there was a lot of us that thought last week's game against the Giants was going to be a comfortable win, and we saw what happened. I mean, it looked for a little while there that we weren't even going to win the game. The Eagles were going to lose the game, and they miraculously came back against the Giants. Last week should have been a walkover. It should have been an easy win, and it wasn't. Now, again, the Eagles won that game. They did what they had to do to win, and, maybe a lesser team loses that game, right? So coming into this week, they have had some extra time off. They are heavily favored this week. The Cowboys have played like crap recently. They really have. I mean, they have been a dumpster fire of a team, but yet they still don't feel they're out of it because of the division that they're in. And like I said, I do think the Eagles are going to win, but would it shock me if it's a closer game than like a laugher? It wouldn't, because I've seen this with the Eagles before. It doesn't seem to matter what the situation is. They hardly ever blow a team out anymore. How long has it been since the last time we've won a comfortable game, right? They've all been close, tight-fisted games, even going back to late last season. I think the last time the Eagles won a game really comfortable was against the Jets. Now, ironically enough, last year against the Jets were down to their third-string quarterback, whoever that guy who didn't look like he belonged in the league was in there getting sacked left and right? Last week, the home game against the Jets. I think that's the last time the Eagles won a laugher, won a game that, you knew it was over, before the fourth quarter. Every other game that they've won, from that point on, including this season, have been close, tight-fisted games that really could have gone either way. And the Eagles got those wins they got because they made the plays that they had to make to get the win. So I'm not looking past this game. I'm not looking past the Cowboys, even though they're down to Tucci or whoever it is playing quarterback and making his first career start and all this and that. And yes, I am a little worried too, because it's the Jim Schwartz defense. And how many times have we seen, them have problems with that defense, with the defensive schemes that they have, although they are a better defense than Dallas. I mean, of the two defenses, and I know we've had our problems, the Eagles look like the frickin' 85 Bears compared to Dallas. Dallas is just bad. And there's some good players on that defense. It's a horrible scheme. And they're laughable. They're laughable. But at the same time, our offensive line is still makeshift. And Miles Sanders isn't going to play, so you're without your starting running back. The veteran receivers are not going to play. Maybe that's a good thing, but they're not going to play. You're still without Zach Ertz. Dallas, speaking of Dallas, right? Dallas Goedert might come back, and that's a good thing. That he'll be a welcome addition to this offense. And yeah, I mean, week after week, Carson Wentz is throwing interceptions. So I'm just saying this as a cautionary tale. I would love to see this as a laugher, and this game is over at halftime, and we can just put our feet up, and Dallas, Dallas sucks. We'll do Dallas sucks chants from like the second quarter on. For the fans, obviously, that are going to the game, all right, so it'll be the whole game for them, but they'll be doing it on the way, walking through the parking lot. But I've watched too many Eagles games. I've been an Eagles fan for too long to know that this is like, what was the line in Star Wars, right? It's a trap, right? I just feel like this could be one of those games that I'm not looking past. I'm not looking past Dallas to get, this should be a walkover win, and we'll play the Giants, after a bye week. And, I'm still looking at this game as an Eagles fan standpoint, saying that the Eagles got to show up. They can't just walk on the field and think they're going to win the game. They got to show up. They got to get on that field and play. They got to put Dallas away. They can't let that team hang around and make it a close game like it was a week ago against the Giants. Not for nothing. I mean, look, Dallas does have some weapons on offense. They got Zeke. They got Cooper, who shows up when he wants to, it seems, but he's still a good receiver. So they have weapons on their offense, even though we don't know anything about their quarterback. But sometimes it's those quarterbacks you don't know about that just tend to, right, to kill us. And we'll see. I mean, CD Lamb is an athletic receiver, good young receiver. You just never know. So I'm not putting the dirt on the Dallas grave just yet, even though I would love to. Nothing makes me more happier when they're losing and their local bandwagon, never hear from them after losses, fans can just be quiet the rest of the year and they just go away. Nothing makes me happier when the Eagles, other than a Super Bowl championship, of course, when the Eagles beat Dallas. That's always fun. I enjoy those games the most during a year. It just, particularly when Dallas is playing the way they have been. It's been enjoyable watching them. They've gotten in their own way. They've been a dumpster fire. It's been, they seem to have gotten the wrong coach after all those years of the clapper. Now they have a guy that doesn't clap, but he's just not good. And listen, I will say this about McCarthy. I knew he wasn't going to be that good because he was in Green Bay all those years with Aaron Rodgers, and he can only get to one Super Bowl and win one Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. I mean, are you kidding me? I know it's hard to win. Believe me, Eagle fans know. It's hard to win. But my God, you had one of the best quarterbacks in the league all those years, and you can only go to one Super Bowl with him? Really? You can only win one? Or at least go to one Super Bowl in all those years with Aaron Rodgers? Okay. All right, yeah, he's good. Meanwhile, Belichick's going to how many with Brady, right? And I know Belichick's more of a defensive-minded coach, and he's been although this year this has really been a good year, hasn't it? I mean, I know the Eagles have had their own problems, but the Cowboys are losing week to week, the Patriots are losing week to week, Brady's in Tampa Bay. I mean, it's refreshing, isn't it? Isn't this great? This is how it should be. We just need the Eagles to play a little better, and it would be perfect. But listen, I know it was a tough one last week. It was a game that really didn't have to go the way it did, but they came back and they won. And you can take heart with that. The young players are playing good. The young receivers, boy, Fulgham looks really good, doesn't he? There might be some fans in Dallas who might want Fulgham on their team, huh? Well, who would have thought that, too, right, going into this week? What receiver may have more receptions in the game? Amari Cooper or Fulgham? Which one? A guy who no one knew about a few weeks ago, or a mainstay at the wide receiver position, right? Well, I think Mr. Fulgham might have more. Travis Fulgham might have more receptions than Cooper. That's crazy to think about. That just goes to show you how crazy this league can be and how crazy this sport can be. Listen, Eagles Nation, I, again, believe the Eagles will win this game. Look, they're a better team than Dallas right now. Not that the better team always wins. We know that. The Eagles were a better team last year than Miami, and they still lost to Miami. But in the for the time and place, for right now, you have a quarterback making his first ever start against a good defensive line, a defensive line that should be able to get pressure on because the offensive line is just Swiss cheese for Dallas right now. I do believe the Eagles are going to win. I hope it's a comfortable win, but my Eagle senses, like the Spidey senses, right? My Eagle senses are tingling. That it might not be as big of a blowout as we're hoping it would be. I would love to see it. But I've seen too much of the Eagles to know over the years. I do believe it's going to be a win. The Eagles should be able to get this win. And at the end of the day, that's all it means. That's all that means it to me. As long as the Eagles win, I never care how they win. If it's a blowout, if it's a close game, whatever. Ties we can do without. But let's get a win. As long as they win, that's all I care about at the end of the day. And I know the big talk on Sports Talk Radio this week has been, some people saying, well, if they don't win, by a landslide, it's going to be a disappointment. If they let Dallas hang around with them and Tucci, has a good game against them and we still win, it would be disappointing. Listen, anytime you can beat Dallas, it's a good thing. If you beat them by a landslide, what was that game, 44-6 or whatever that game was years ago, the end of the season, right, with Romo and T.O. my quarterback at the end, right? That type of game, or you win a game like a 4th-and-1 stop against Emmitt Smith, and that type of game, or even game like they had last year against, where it wasn't perfect, but they got a win. That type of game, and Amari Cooper did his disappearing, Amari Cooper dressed up as the Invisible Man early last year for Halloween during that game in Philly, when everything on the line. If it's that type of game, it is. I never care. I just want to win, and I want to beat Dallas. I want to beat that team, because that's the team I can't stand more than any other team. They're local fans. They're just, I tell you, they're quiet after losses. They like to do a lot of this. When they win, they'll come off a win against the Falcons. When the Falcons forgot how to fall on the football on the ground when it was an onside kick, they'll be very vocal. But then they lose the game against the Cardinals. They lose last week against the Washington, which, by the way, the Dallas fans have said, oh, the Eagles lost to the Washington, a team that doesn't have a name. Yeah, your team lost by more to them. So at least the Eagles were in the game against that team with no name who plays in Washington. But no, you don't hear from them. They're quiet. They're zombies. This is the perfect day for it. They walk around. They don't talk. This is what they do. And for some reason, they're all Laker fans too. It's like those local Dallas fans can't even stay in the same area code. The teams that they like play all over the country. They like the Cowboys. They like the Lakers. They like the Yankees. I don't know. I mean, I guess the other teams in Dallas just aren't good enough for them, I guess Luka Doncic isn't good enough to watch in basketball. No, they're not Laker fans. I stand corrected. They're not Laker. They're LeBron fans. So wherever LeBron goes, they follow him around, right? So they were Cavs fans, then they were Heat fans, then they went back to the Cavs, now they're with the Lakers. They just follow him around. Wherever he goes, they go. I could do a whole video on them. I'm not going to. I shouldn't even talk that much right now about them because they don't even deserve it. They're scum. That's what they are. Jesus, man, pick an area code for teams. I mean, I'm just saying. But anyhow, the Eagles should win. I expect them to win, though I'm not going to be one of those, it's going to be over by halftime, because I've watched the Eagles enough over the years to know. It might not be. We got a field goal kicker all of a sudden that can't kick, too. So, Yeah, like I said, the Eagles have their own issues. They are going to start getting guys back healthy. Hopefully, after the bye week, there'll be more. Maybe they can go on a little run here. They got some tough games coming up after the Giants game. So we're going to see. We're going to learn about this team as the season goes on. I like the fact that they fought. I like the fact that they got some wins here under the belt. And there's a game that they are heavily favored. Look, a couple of weeks ago, who would have thought the Eagles would have been heavily favored in any game the rest of the season? So it's good to see. It's good to know that even with the issues that they've had, they've seemed to correct some things. They are playing better. I know Carson is throwing some interceptions, but even he's played pretty good in recent weeks. I know the interceptions, but it is what it is when you have young receivers and also the offensive line is, not protecting as much. It's not an excuse. He's got to be better. We expect him to be better, and I believe he will. And at the end of the day, I think this team wins a game. I got to say, I do expect at least an 11, 12-point win. Even though something to me tells me it's going to be a little closer than that, but I'm still going to go with at least an 11 or 12-point win. Because Dallas is just, they really have issues. But the wild card is Tucci, right? We don't know what he is. I don't even know if he knows what he is. We'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow. But we'll see. Hey, look, as long as they win tomorrow, that's all I want to see tomorrow night is a win against the Dallas Cowboys and, really put them in the rear view and then bye week, and then we'll see what happens in the Meadowlands, which, recent years it should be a win against the Giants. Well, their fans are so frustrated now. The Giant Bones and all those guys. I saw their YouTube videos afterward. We just can't beat them. Hey, to the Giant fans out there, I know what it feels like. Because I remember when the Eagles kept losing to the Giants. So it's nice that it's the other way around now for the past how many years. Because I remember those years with Strahan and those guys, and oh man, we had trouble against the Giants back then. So I'm glad that the Eagles are taking care of business against your guys now, against your G-men. Because I remember those years when it was the other way around. But that's the thing about, teams in this division. It's like, there's ownership and then it goes the other way. And then so we'll see. But anyhow, we'll deal with that game after the bye week. So, as always, let's go Birds. Big one tomorrow night, Sunday Night Football. Another primetime game, another network on NBC. The Eagles are good in primetime under Doug Peterson. They have a winning record in primetime games. And I think they're going to be ready for tomorrow night. Hopefully they don't have too much candy tonight and can just take care of business tomorrow against that wonderful team from Dallas. And we get to watch Jerry just sit there and, the face droops a little more and a little more and a little more, and then he'll Jerry it up later. But, it's good to see. But anyhow, let's finish off this week's episode, as always, with the Festive Four, and Pumpkin is masquerading as Festive, and Festive still into the candy. Well, I tell you what. Festive might look like two Festives next week if that keeps going. But we got the weekly Festive Four, and as always, a 4-pack of winners that Festive feels is going to win the game. And if these don't go well, you just have to blame Festive. Well, no, not you. The Festive that's being Pumpkin. You didn't. Did you make these picks this week? But I think Festive still made the picks. So we can blame the Festive that's over there, not the Festive that's over here. But anyhow, the Festive Four. First of all, Festive again going with the low-hanging fruit. I will say this: last week, Festive again went 3-1. And the one constant this season has been the Festive picks. Festive knows how to pick. Festive on the season, going 3-1 again last week, is 17-7 on the season. Ooh, my goodness! There's people who do this for a living that don't have that type of record. So Festive knows the picks. Okay, it's just the Foxes. They're sly. They understand these things. Okay, so Festive again. At least one of the picks is some low-hanging fruit. Festive likes a good revenge. So Festive likes Le'Veon Bell playing against briefly his former team, but the Jets this week in Kansas City to take care of business against the New York Football Jets. Festive also likes Buffalo over New England. Festive thinks New England will continue to struggle, right? And Buffalo looks like they might win the division this year. Festive that says, well, if you're going to win the division, you got to take care of business against those Patriots. And Festive likes the Bills over the Patriots. Festive also likes Tennessee to bounce back this week after suffering their first loss of the season last week against Pittsburgh. Festive likes the Titans over the Bengals, although the Bengals have orange and black. But Festive likes Tennessee. And Festive, rounding it out, also likes Indianapolis over Detroit. So the Lions have been playing a little better football of late. They got a little lucky last week to get a win against the Falcons. It is the Falcons, and they got a Falcon. But but nonetheless, Festive likes the Colts to beat the Patriots of the Midwest. I mean the Lions in that game tomorrow. So again, to recap, Festive likes Kansas City over the New York Jets, Buffalo to beat the Patriots, Tennessee over Cincinnati, and Indianapolis to beat the Detroit Motor City Kitty Cats. So that is the Festive. Festive, do you have anything to say? All right, so pumpkin. I mean festive. All right, I'm a little confused. So and from Festive and Festive, I would like to also wish everyone out the Festive. Come over here. You can put the candy down for now. All right, both Festives. What? Pumpkin Fest. Well, okay, they're both foxes, and on behalf of Festive or Pumpkin and wherever they're supposed to be today, want to wish you all a very happy Halloween. Be safe out there, everyone. Let's go, Birds. Let's get this win tomorrow night against the Alice Cowboys, and we will see you all at some point after the game next week. All right, everyone, take care, and have a happy and safe Halloween, and whatever you're supposed to be tonight, have fun. All right, you can have the candy again. Pumpkin wants to join now. Okay, they save some for the trick or treaters, for God's sakes. Yeah, you don't want trick or treaters to get angry. They might have eggs. We don't want that. All right, everyone, take care. Bye.